Okay, so one of the another difference between Gmail and Outlook is with how we handle folders, and Gmail calls them labels because they do act a little bit differently. Where a folder is a place to put things, labels are descriptors. So Gmail actually can allow you to put several labels on one email instead of putting it just in one folder. So, for example, here is an email to myself, really, of a pretend parent being concerned of a student. So that right away, when it comes to Gmail, it gets labeled with inbox, and that's how it shows up in this filter. I could also star it, and now not only can it be found in the inbox, but now it can also be found in the starred search there as well. So that's two different ways you can kind of label things also. So things that you send will also be labeled as sent mail, so that's a filter or search really. Or if you start something and don't finish it, it'll also be dumped in your draft. So these are kind of like filters or searches, if you will. Down below are my own made labels, aka folders in Outlook, and you can have subfolders within other folders. But again, I'm going to start calling them labels because that's really how they work. So when an email comes in, if this is a concerned parent, maybe I have a label called parent. And notice I don't have that label. As I type, it's actually trying to find what label I already have created. So I put a P in there. So there's Pride, Pix, Principal, PD/Android course. So these are sub-labels underneath PD. So if I wanted to, I could put all these labels on this one conversation. It doesn't really make sense because it's nothing to do with PD, but I'm just showing you that all these labels now are applied to this conversation. So if I actually went to one-to-one and the sub-label Pride, which is our Pride article, then that would be found there as well as in the inbox because it also has the inbox label on it as well. If I go to the PD/BCIU sub-label, it can be found there too. So all this one email can be found in several different places over here, which is kind of nice. So let me give a little bit more specific example. I'm just removing those labels by clicking the X on them. So say if this did come in from a parent, I could just say parent if I wanted to and hit create new because I haven't created this label before. It's saying created. And if I want to, I can make it a sub-label of any other labels that I do have on here. I don't really have anything associated with a parent. So I'm just going to create the label, hit create new, and I'm not going to make it nested under another one. So now I have a label called parent. It'll show up over here. There it is there. And this is the only conversation that has been applied to that label. Notice Google does a search for you too as well, label : parent, and that helps you find things too as well. So if I go up here to search, I can hit parent. And if I use that label before, Google will suggest me to use the label keyword to filter out everything with labels of parent. One thing I don't like about this navigation over here is once you're over here and you can't scroll anywhere, you just have to click the more labels and then you get this scroll bar to grab, or a 2-finger swipe up and down allows you to move around. But if it's static like this, just click the more or fewer labels link and it'll make that active for you. So maybe it's a parent, but also maybe it's a special ed kid. So I have special education as a new label. Again, I don't need to nest it under there, so I'm just using an example. So now this conversation can be found under special ed label, parent label, and inbox. When you archive something, it really is just removing the inbox and puts it into your all mail label. If I click the X, it also archives that message and even tells me that it's archived. So I hit undo and did not remove that inbox label. So like I said, you can add as many labels as you like. If you do hit manage labels, that'll just take you to the back end, and I'll show you where it's actually taking you. It's taking you to settings, and this is where all your labels can be managed from in one location. Underneath the labels, instead of underneath general, we go to labels. And then here's Google system labels. For example, I don't really use the important label, so I hid that one. So you can show or hide any labels or categories. Google also offers you as built in. Also your circles from Google Plus, if you use that. I just hide all those because I don't really use those in my Gmail. But down below are finally the labels that I've created. If I click on any of them, I can change the name of them here. If I do remove it, it's really just removing the label. It's not removing the conversations. It's removing the label from the conversations. So for example, if I scroll down to parent, I don't really care about that label. So if I hit remove, it's just going to remove that label. It's not going to remove that email that was associated with that label. So the other one was special ed I created. So that's all the way down here. Again, I can edit it. It's also over here on the side as well. And there it is, special education. If I'd like, I can also just use this drop-down menu to remove the label or edit it as well. So that's also another way to access this information about labels rather than going into settings. Another nice feature of the drop-down menu over here is you can color code. So for instance, if I have something in my inbox and I label it, I'll just do 1-to-1. What I can do then is next to my 1-to-1 label, I can go ahead and add a label color to it. I'll make it blue. Maybe it'll stand out a little bit. And now in my inbox, that email will have the label in blue for me. So you can actually have a whole bunch of colors associated with different labels. And that allows you to see things a little bit better too, if you are into color coding things and organizing through colors. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out with label and you feel a little bit more comfortable. If not, put some comments below and I can answer any of your questions or concerns.